we should avoid as a researcher, we should avoid all these things. Moving to the next slide. So the word plagiarism is derived from the Latin word that is plagiarius. As you can see, it means kidnapper. According to the Joe's State University, so it is given by them and its meaning is kidnapper or kidnapping. Moving to the next slide. So let's see some definition of it. According to the Merriam-Webster online dictionary, to plagiarize mean in a transitive sense, to steal and pass off, and in intransitive sense, to commit literally theft. So it is a literally theft that you are just taking the article or the blogs of somebody else or articles of somebody else and not giving due respect, not citing it properly from where you have taken. You are not properly mentioning the sources from where you are taking it. So obviously it's going to come under the plagiarism. So there are some official definitions also, as you can see on the screen on the slide. To use the word or ideas of another person as if they were not of your own ideas. Okay, to steal and pass off as one's own, use another production without crediting the source. Third, to commit literally theft, present as new and original an idea of product derived from an existing source. So now the question arises, what does plagiarism look like? Copying someone's work, it look like when you copy someone's work, citing a source improperly, not revealing that from where you are just putting it, not putting the things very clearly over there, failure to cite a source, creation of false source, turning in another person's work as your own. So these are some this is how the plagiarism look like. Now, what is the importance of plagiarism? Who really cares? Plagiarism, we all know that it is a theft of intellectual property, because the property which is not you are stealing, you are not giving due respect, and you are not giving quoting it proper, not giving citation properly, you are not revealing the resources from where you are taking it. So obviously it's an intellectual property. It's an intellectual property of somebody, and when you are presenting with your own name, then obviously it's a theft. Plagiarism is a cheating. Plagiarism may result in receiving a fail or a zero for the assignment. As you are going to write dissertations, so if the plagiarism will be there, some percent of plagiarism is allowed. I think just you can ask with your supervisors. I think 15% is allowed, but you can check again, you can recheck with your supervisors and the percentage of the plagiarism, and accordingly you just write your dissertations and check the plagiarism before submitting your your dissertations. So possibly the most important reason to not plagiarize is that it robs you of the educational experience involved in research, thinking and writing. One of the main purpose of higher education is to do research. We all know this thing. To help expand thought process, to improve writing skills, and to learn to prepare presentation. Taking credit for someone else's work obviously hurts you most of all. So I hope you are not going to do much plagiarism in your dissertation. The plagiarism which much the percentage is allowed to you, only just you will keep the things in mind and accordingly you will do your dissertations. Okay, there are some points, something that you think you know about fully about the plagiarism, but maybe you are wrong. Like, alive or dead, it does not matter. If it is not your own idea, you must cite your source. If you translate a paraphrase, something, you must still give a citation. So person is dead, you start thinking कि अरे उसकी डेथ हो गई है, अब हम तो उसका आर्टिकल लिख सकते हैं या without giving due respect, but article belong to him only. Okay, so now we have moved. There are various type of plagiarisms. Like complete plagiarism is there, as you can see, source-based plagiarism, direct plagiarism, self or auto plagiarism, paraphrasing plagiarism, inaccurate authorship, mosaic plagiarism, accidental plagiarism, and there are so on. More than 10 plagiarisms are there. I have just covered few of them. Okay, the complete plagiarism. The complete plagiarism is submit another's author work in your own name. That is called complete plagiarism. Source-based plagiarism, reference an incorrect or non-existing source. That is going to fall under the source-based plagiarism. Direct plagiarism, if we talk about, then copy text from another document word to word. Self or auto plagiarism, that means reuse a major part of your work without attribution, or you can say it means recycling your own past work. आपने कोई आर्टिकल लिखा, आपने पब्लिश हो गया, उसके बाद आपने उसको फिर से अपने ही आर्टिकल में से you have taken something and without changing it, you again quoted it somewhere else. So that is a self or the auto plagiarism. Paraphrasing plagiarism, plenty of time you do this thing in your assignments, like make minor changes and use other writings. It also means that rephrasing someone else's ideas to present them as your own. Mosaic plagiarism, it means that interlace someone else's phrase or text within your work. Accidental plagiarism, unintentional when you do paraphrasing or copy due to negligence. Many a time in a hurry you do this thing, so that will fall under the category of the accidental plagiarism. Inaccurate authorship. Authorship instead of acknowledgement to the contributor and vice versa. There are various types of plagiarisms come in many forms, sometimes more severe than other form. Rephrasing someone's idea without acknowledgement, to steal a whole essay. There are global plagiarism also, verbatim plagiarism also. That means global plagiarism, it means that passing off an entire text by someone else as your own work. And verbatim plagiarism, it means directly copying someone else's word. Paraphrasing already I have told you. So these are few types of plagiarism which are more important. Intentionally or unintentionally, we do these things when we do research work, or we write an article, or we do dissertation. Like here are the some examples, like intentional plagiarism. When you copy a friend's work, that will fall under the category of the intentional plagiarism. Buying or borrowing paper, cutting and pasting blocks of text from electronic sources without documenting them properly. Then unintentional, careless paraphrasing, poor documentation of paper, quoting excessively, failure to use your own electronic sources, voice without documenting, taking work you have created elsewhere and turning it again without changes. Okay. So many a times, you think that you know all the things, but you are not aware of it. So you may have been told that if you put something into your own words, you need not cite. कई बार हमें लगता है कि हम कुछ भी कहीं से उठा के उसको कॉपी पेस्ट कर देंगे, और हमें उसको कुछ जहां से हम सोर्सेज फ्रॉम वेयर वी आर टेकिंग, वी डोंट हैव टू गिव द क्रेडिट टू इट. This is incorrect. The material is still someone else. It's not your property, someone else intellectual property. So it requires acknowledgement with due respect. So you have to cite the source properly. So paraphrasing requires a citation. The next, quotations. Quotations must be attributed to the original author and the source that you used. Many a time we use quotation, it is said by him, it is said by her, but we forget to give credit to them and forget to write the proper citation for it. For example, if you use the phrase, fourscore and 20 years ago, our forefather, you must give credit to the Abraham Lincoln and the book in which he quoted. Next is, sorry, you cannot use someone else's paper, artwork, or presentation without proper citation, even if he gave you permission. If suppose somebody has written some article and somebody has given you the permission, okay, go ahead, I'm having no issue. You copy down my work, but then also that property belonged to him or her, and it's not your original work. So you should never forget to give credit to that person, to due respect to that person. And of course, your instructor may not want someone else's paper as your work, even with proper citation. So you have to give respect. You may even have to cite yourself if you created a work for previous paper or presentation and you are using it again. If your own article, if you are using your own paper somewhere, like you have it presented or published and you are using something from them, then also you have to quote it, and you have to just give respect. You have to mention it very clearly that from where you are taking it. You must cite your previous work. आपका प्रीवियस वर्क है तो आप उसमें से आप बताएंगे पूरा कि कहाँ पे आर्टिकल पब्लिश हुआ था, क्या था, एंड ऑल द डिटेल्स यू हैव टू मेंशन. Okay, what about all that free stuff people put on the web? Many a time we see that plenty of free stuff is there. People put on the web and you see and you think that you can use it, but dear, it's only free economically. But you, if you are taking from there, you have to quote the proper citation from where you are taking, and you have to take the permission. Okay. The lectures by our professors are protected by copyright laws. If you use their ideas, you must give them credit. To not do is plagiarism. Then next, a good citation makes it easy for the readers to figure out the who, what, when, and where of the source. So that means citation is very, very much important. So now the question, what is the importance of citation? Citing or documenting the sources used in your research serve three purposes. It's give proper credit first to the author of the words or ideas that you are incorporated into your paper. Secondly, it allows those who are reading your work to locate your source in order to learn more about the ideas that you include in your paper. Citing your source constantly and accurately helps you avoid committing plagiarism in your writing. So, for a citation is very, very much important. Good citation make it easy for the readers to figure out the whole, uh, figure out the who, what, and when, where the source. So, what are the possible consequences improperly citing references? So, means if you are citing the references in an improper way, then what can be the consequences? Failure to acknowledge source, textual, personal, electronic upon which you have relied is a serious breach of academic integrity. Such a failure can lead to an accusation of plagiarism, defined as the use of any source, published or unpublished, without proper acknowledgement or other forms of academic dishonesty. So here I'm just going to just tell you on the slides, you can see that I have given some tips to avoid plagiarism. So the first step is to produce as well as written article to start work early, not wait for the last hour. If you keep the procrastinating, then in the end, there will be less time to complete the paper, and you can use specific tools like assignments, calculators to avoid the delay in work. As soon as you start the project, make sure to collect resources in abundance. It is a better to develop an idea of your own about the particular topic and then break it into forms of questions. Once done, you can note the references and material that are about to use. Fourth, while using the source, mark out the paraphrase, and the paraphrasing is also considered plagiarism. While sustaining your answer, keep track of the work you are quoting and then use the author name, the title of the work, page number, etc. All the details mentioned clearly, year of publication, everything. The best way to avoid any allegation of plagiarism is to cite the work you are using in your article. You must know how to cite the article you are quoting. After writing, the final step is to review and edit your work. It is indeed a significant step. You need to check for plagiarized content by using the online plagiarism checker tools available. This will help you to produce a paper without any duplicate content. So lot of various free tools are available on the like nowadays on the computer and on the internet. You can find it out, and you can check your plagiarism, and it shows the document how much percentage of plagiarism is containing your document, and you can make it a unique one by removing those things. Consequences of plagiarism: most academic institutions include a dissertation paper as a part of their curriculum to ensure that they learn and think at a deeper level. Therefore, if a student submit an article with plagiarized content, the academic institution may take serious action against the student. And why the researcher and the student use this plagiarism? Because they are in hurry, in short interval of time, they have to present their paper, they have to submit their assignment, and students, they want to secure, they want to score good marks, and for the good grades, they just go for the plagiarism. Then in a short span of time, they can submit their work. Why avoiding plagiarism is important? Avoiding plagiarism is important. It can have consequences in the form of the prohibition and even the fines in some cases. If plagiarism is being done by bloggers, then as a consequences, they may lose their readership. And if the writers want, he can also take legal step against the content creator. All cases of plagiarism can sabotage the career of the content creator. So it's advisable and it's best for you all to avoid plagiarism. The content creator must use online plagiarism checker tools. Here, like duplicator checker is available, paper ratter is good. These are the plagiarism detection tools, and you can use it and you can make your work plagiarism free. Copy leaks, plag scan, plagiarismia, plagiarism checker, Quetex, and small CTO tools. These all are available, and you can use them, and you can make your work unique. So at the end and the conclusion, so to avoid plagiarism, the content creator must use the online plagiarism checker tool. It will tell you how much your document contain plagiarism, and then by making changes, you can make it unique and free from plagiarism. That's all from my side. I hope this information is going to be beneficial for you all. And while writing dissertation, you all will keep all these important points in your mind. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for covering this one of the most important topic in such a nice manner. Thank you so much once again. Now, I would like to call upon our next key speaker for the day, and she is Ms. Sanvi Sharma, ma'am. She is an assistant professor law at GemTech School of Law, Greater Noida, and she is having vast experience in corporate law, etc. And she is going to deliver her lecture on uniform mode of citation and how to write endnotes, index, chapterization, bibliography, etc. I welcome you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much, Nana ma'am. Thank you so much. First of all, I'll welcome every student of 10th semester who would be writing dissertation in this semester, and I hope my lecture I will be able to give justice towards my topic, and I hope you get some output of what I teach in today's lecture. I'll share my screen. Okay. So now in today's lecture, my topic of discussion is topic of lecture is uniform mode of citation. I will cover every possible concept. And majorly I will focus on Ili mode of citation. The session objectives or the subtopics which I will discuss is what is a reference or what is a citation? Why do we need citation? What are the examples of citation? What is citation or reference eventually? Or what is the style of citation or reference? And specifically, focusing on ILI mode of citation, or otherwise there are a lot of mode, but we would focus on only one mode, which is ILI. Then already avoiding plagiarism as a topic has been covered by Professor Dr. Richa Srivastava ma'am, and she's already covered in depth about how to avoid plagiarism, what are the softwares, and how to avoid a major aspect of copying anybody's material, and how where to get this information about ILI mode of citation, how to cite every possible thing, or maybe I would also circulate this PPT to every student of mine, and I will also circulate the format also. Now, getting what is the first, if I give you an introduction, what is reference to citation. Now if you have I am very sure that you have read a lot of articles, you've read a lot of books, wherein at the end of the page you can find there's a line, and then there are some things written with regard to the text which above it. So that is a citation. And but what is a citation? What is a reference or a citation? Is a way by giving credit of somebody's thinking, writing, or research. Every author or every article writer or any writer is writing his views about that particular subject or the concept. And if you are very inspired from that particular, I mean, you're inspired from that writing and you want to inherit that particular writing in your research, in your writing, you will have to give a credit. And you mark the material when you use it, a citation, and you give a full identification at the end. Now, if you also notice that you must have read a lot of articles, especially students. I have I want the past in the past semester, whosoever I have taught, I give a lot of articles for you to read. If you would have noticed that citation is always written at the end of the at the bottom of the page, and the references or bibliography is always written at the last. So in a full identification, full details about the citation have been clearly given as a bibliography or a reference, but a significant aspect is also written at the bottom of the page, which is also known as citation. In academic writing, you're obliged to attribute every piece of material used as its author or to the other author also, whose material you copy or you are taking a reference of. Of course, it is his material, it is his thinking. You should also acknowledge about what he is thinking or writing in his article, even if you want to cite that article, cite that sentence or a statement in your writing. Why are we teaching all this? Because an in 100 a very important subject in dissertation writing is in your syllabus, and it is extraordinarily important for every faculty to teach how to write, write, how to properly write a dissertation. And post, there would be a lot of students who would be attempting who would be giving CLAT PG, or you would be entering into in LLM programs. So all of these lectures, all of these PPTs, all of this material which has been given to you, or which has been whatever you are hearing from all the faculties, it would eventually help you in this semester also and future ahead. Now, why do we cite? Because we have to give credit, source of information and ideas. We have to give credit to the source of the information and ideas, and readers can locate for further information if required. If, for example, if I am citing one article, citing one line, and I'm writing proper citation at the bottom of page, and the other person is very interested about where I am taking this material from. So it would be easy for the reader to locate the information from where I have taken. So it also validates arguments, it increases and spread the knowledge, and it shows depth, breadth, and quality of your reading, because more citations, more references, more bibliography clearly suggests there are more of reading, there are more of research happening towards your topic. Now, when to cite, what exactly to cite? You cite direct quotes, you cite also stats, which is, for example, if you're doing a primary research, you would be making your own stats in that aspect, because it's your research. You need not cited. But if you're taking a secondary data, for example, a NASCOM report, and you are showcasing that stats, the figures, the graphs, bars in your research, you have to cite from where are you taking source, as in you have to cite that I am taking the source from NASCOM report 2019 or 2020, whatever is it. Then you also have to cite theories, you have to cite facts, interpretation, paraphrases, and you also have to cite. And later on, I will also tell you what are the what else do you have to cite. Now, if I give you a very a simple example of citation, if I take a line which has been displayed to you on the screen, the voyage of Catafel has a strong Irish flavor, yet it is clearly set on the eastern seaboard of the United States of America. Now, it has been cited by a lot of other journals, and it has been also been used. So if you want to cite it, you can paraphrase it, or you can also cite it in a clear way. Fine. Now, if I also give you an example for paraphrase, now the paraphrase is a statement which you are writing in your own words. You're writing a similar statement, but in your own by changing the words, and also clearly mentioning that you have taken from this particular source. Now, what are different sites which you follow? Also, there are a lot of citation or reference style. It depends on different organization to organization. There are a lot of universities who follow in law only. In fact, in different field, you follow different method of citation. If I talk about law, there are different universities who try to follow. National law school, there are some national law schools who rely on Ili Mode of Citation. There are national law schools who rely on Blue Book method. There are some national law schools who do not rely on Ili and Blue Book. They rely on Oscola method of citation. So it depends on department to department, university to university, which they follow. Majorly, ILI and Oslo is somewhat we follow in all the national schools. Now, if you talk about our today's topic of discussion, which is ILI mode of citation, it is, of course, you know about Indian Law Institute, and this particular institute has formulated a set of footnoting pattern, citation pattern, and they've already given in the Journal of Indian Law Institute, and also been supported by Annual Survey of Indian Law and other publications also. It is a uniform mode of citation followed by a lot of universities. Fine. Now, I also wanted to share you one more aspect of how ILI cites each and every concept. Now, if you can clearly see, I would also zoom. So this is a style. This is a citation style which ILI follows. First of all, for example, if I talk about mode of citation, in aspect of mode of citation, if mode of citation only for book, for example, you're taking a material from a book, then how will you cite it has been clearly denoted by ILI mode of citation. If I clearly talk about an authored book, if it is a single, there's a single author towards that book, you have to write the name of the author first, then the title of the book in italics, then you have to write the page number, or page number which has been referred by you. And then you have to write the publisher, who is publisher, and the place of publication and which edition. For example, as you can see on the screen, if I am taking something from MPGen, I will write first of all name of the author, which is MPGen. What is the title of the book in italics, which is Indian Constitutional Law. This is the title of the book, and page number is 98. And in bracket, which is the first the publisher, which is Kamal Law House, and the place of publication, which is Calcutta, and which edition which you're referring to, that is 5th edition in the year 1998. This is when you follow you want to cite a single authored book. Then if you want to cite two authors, then in that case you have to name authors, then you have to again comma, then you have to in italics, you have to write the title of the book along with the page number, and the same thing in bracket publisher, the place of the publication and edition separated by a comma. Fine. For example, MP Jain and SM Jain, these are two authors who have written a book combined. And the name of the book, title of the book is Principles of Administrative Law, which is in italics, and page number, which is 38. Specifically mentioning page number is not italics, page number is written as its own. And in brackets, you have to write the name of the publisher, which is Vadava, comma, in the place of the publication, which is Nagpur, and in the year 2001. Fine. If there are multiple authors, which that means more than two, here in that aspect, you have to first write the name of the first two authors. Then you have to write the title of the book, page number, and you have to be specific. You have to refer to a specific page, or another bracket. You have to denote who is the publisher, what is the place of publication, and edition of the publication. Like, for example, you have Jerry L. Marshall and then Richard A. Merrill. You are writing first two names of the author, and then you are writing the title of the book in italics. Then you're writing the publisher, and then place of the publication and the year. And if you're writing the book, then you also have to write the name of the author again. Then volume number, if it is in volume. For example, there are a lot of books which are being divided into volumes. So you have to write volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, which volume is it? And then title of the book and the page number, again in bracket, publisher, place of publication, and edition year. Then if it is an edited book, earlier I was talking about an authored book. Now I am talking about the edited book. Now, if I'm talking about the edited book, if it has been edited by one person, you have to write the name of the editor. Now, in bracket ED. In short, it's an abbreviation. Then you have to write the title of the book in italic. Then you have to write the page number, which is, for example, 180. And then you have to write publisher, comma, place of the publication, comma, year of publication or edition. Example being, you can also see on the screen, Susan A. Bandy's, which is the title of the book is The Passion of Law, taken from 180 page number, and publisher and the place of publication is also mentioned with the year in brackets. If there are two authors, again the same thing. Two authors named together, separated by AD in bracket EDS editors, which is an abbreviation editors, and then in italics you have to write the title of the book and page number. Like, for example, this page number is 38 to 42, and taken from Ili, which is a publisher, and place of publication being Delhi, and year of publication 2004. If there are two authors, you will have to write the first two authors' name and separated by ETAL, which is an abbreviation, and then title of the book in italics, again a page number, and again publisher, publication, and an edition year mentioned in brackets. If it is by an auspicious organization or maybe an institution or a think tank organization, you have to name what is the organization, what is the name of that particular source in italics, and then publisher, place, and year. Fine. This is all about authored book and edited book. Now I'm talking about how you cite an article or an essay. If you're taking an article from a journal or periodical, how will you cite? Here in that aspect, you will first write the name of the author of the article, title of the essay within inverted commas, and volume of the journal and name of the journal in italics, and page number in bracket year. Like, for example, Upendra Bakshi is writing, is the author. He has written the article named On How Not to Judge the Judges, Notes Towards Evaluation of Judicial Role, which is in brackets. Fine. The journal where the article or the paper is being published, the name of the journal is Journal of Indian Law Institute, which is in italics, volume number 25, page number 211, in the year 1983, in brackets. Fine. When a research paper or an article is being published in a case reporter, then you have to write the name of the author, again in inverted commas, the title of the article. Then you have to write the case reporters, the whole, what is the volume first, the name of the case reporter, then in the year 2002. Fine. Then the second is I talked about articles, how to cite an article or a paper. First, I was talking about journal. Then I talked about case reporter. Now I'm talking about an article in a chapter of an edited book. Then here in that case, name of the author or authors you will write first with inverted commas. You will write the title of the essay and the name of the editor also, and the name of the edited book in italics with page number and publisher, edition year written in brackets. Fine. More or less, all of these are connected, and they are very, if you understand each thing, you will also understand subsequent versions. Fine. Now, if I talk about if you want to cite an essay which has been part of a survey, for example, a World Bank is conducting a survey on how to do a business, which is an annual survey in practical aspect. So every year World Bank conducts a survey, and you want to cite that particular part of that survey in your. There's an essay written in the particular survey. How to cite that essay or an article, you have to first write the name of the essay, and you have to then again in inverted commas you have to write the name of the essay, which is published. I mean, where is it published, what is the volume first, and what is the name of the survey, and then page number along with publisher and the year of publication. Fine. If it is, if an article has been published in the newspaper, then you have to write the writer first, the name of the write-up, article or essay in inverted commas. Where is it published? Name of the newspaper in italics, and the month, date, and year of the newspaper where the article has been published. If an article has been published from an editorial, I mean, it is you have to quote or you have to cite editorial from a newspaper. Again, you have to clearly mention the editorial, and then what is the name of the editorial article. In inverted commas, where is the name of the newspaper where that particular editorial has been published, and the date. And then if you're taking a reference from an encyclopedia, you have to write the name of the author, then volume, name of the encyclopedia, and its publisher, year, and publisher, place, and year. I talked about how to cite books, how to cite articles published in different versions, different places. Now I would talk about how to cite a website. Now, if you want to clearly indicate, you have to write down the date of visiting the website. When did you visit? If you clearly want to go to a website, you have to first write down, for example, Information Technology Act, India, which is available. Write down, copy the link from the URL, and you also have to write when did you last visit in brackets. If you are using an unpublished work, then again you have to write the name of the researcher first, the title of the dissertation or written material in italics, the year. You have to clearly write down it is unpublished LLM dissertation from this particular institute. For example, if you want to take my unpublished research work, you have to write my name, my research paper, research paper title. Then you clearly mention in the year 2019 I have completed this particular research paper. In bracket, it is an unpublished LLM dissertation from NLU Delhi, National Oscola, Ili, any wherever you've given your dissertation or thesis. Fine. If you want to quote interviews, so then you have to write interview with XYZ person. Where is that interview published? If it is published in a newspaper, then write down the name of the newspaper at this date. But if you want to publish, you want to use a material from a forthcoming publication, then again the title of the who has written that particular book, what is the name of the book, what is the title of the book in italics, and then in press, that means it is in process of getting published. So in process in the year 2015. And forthcoming publication of article, the article is yet to publish. Again, you have to write the name of the writer. Then in inverted commas, the title of the article, volume number, in italics, the journal name, page number, and in press, because it has not been published, it is in the process of getting published in the year 2019. We've read how to what is the mode of citation for a book, for an article. We have also read clear version on what kind of article. Now, websites also we have clearly done. Now, because we are law students, we are law faculties, we should also know how to cite what is the mode of citation of a case law. Fine. Now, for example, where the case title is written in the body of the text, only the name of the case shall be written in the text. For example, Keshananda Bharti versus State of Kerala, you've already written. For example, I.R. Coelho, you've already written the text. You only have to write the citation in the footnote. Citation, from where have you taken? But if you are not writing the name of the case, you are just taking one statement from the judgment of one case law, you have to write the name of the case, then also the citation in the footnote. Fine. If for example, racial dissonance, there can be common racial dissonance also. If two cases have referred to the same, in one case, there, for example, if one statement has been clearly reflected by you in the content, and it has been quoted in two different cases, then you have to write two cases here. Or you, for example, if one racial dissonance has been clearly mentioned in the content of your written material, you have to clearly state by the name of the case and also by clear citation in the footnote itself. And foreign cases are also cited in the similar manner as how you do Indian cases. But you have to clearly focus on how to cite act, legislation, or any provision of constitution. You have to first write down the complete name. For example, Information Technology Act, the year. What is the act number? Every act has a number also. So you have to clearly mention what kind of act which you have to clearly mention. What is the act number? For example, there are a lot of act which is of extra, which have a long title. For example, right to fair composition. If I clearly talk about land acquisition, it has a long title. So make sure you write the whole title in total, and it has to be cited at the Constitution of India if you're taking any provision. If you're taking sections from a statute or a constitution, you have to first write the name of the act first, act year, of which state, and you have to write down section in abbreviation S dot section number. Similarly goes to Constitution of India provisions too. If you're quoting foreign legislation, you have to clearly mention what is the first act. Sarbanes-Oxley Act, year this, comma, Act of 34. Or, for example, any act for that matter, on national parks of Canada, fishing regulations, any. You have to clearly mention United Nations Convention of International Sales of Goods. You have to write section 10, section 2, section 4 in abbreviation. Fine. And if you are quoting constitutional provisions of other countries' constitution, it has to be done in a similar manner as you're doing, as you are citing Constitution of India provisions. Fine. If you want to quote, if you clearly want to write the report, if you clearly want to write, you want to know how to cite a report, you have to first who is carry forwarding that particular report, who is the institution, who is the author of that particular report, what is the title of the report in inverted comma. You have to also write the page number which has been referred by you and the year of application. Then, if you want to quote Constituent Assembly debates, parliamentary debates, you have to write volume number and in inverted commas, Constituent Assembly debates and the page number. Same goes with if you can give the link, you can clearly give the link. And again, if you're giving a link, you have to clearly mention last visited on which date. Then international document, any convention, any covenant, any optional protocol, which you were clearly mentioning, you have to first write the name of the act, the comma, then article number or section number or provision number. Same goes with the basic for any international organization. For example, WTO, which article? So, World Trade Organization, comma, Article 10, Article 9, etc. Now, if you want to quote any document, report, primary study done by these organizations, then you have to first write which organ of the United Nations are coming up with the particular report, and then in inverted commas the document, the title of the document, what is the resolution, and then you have to write down the full date, and if possible you can point out the para number, article, section, point, anything, whichever you are referring. Now, if I clearly also talk about how do you cite UN documents, you have to clearly state who's the author, or which report, or what kind of data are you taking from, whether you have taken data from General Assembly or you're taking data from Secretariat, WTO, Secretariat, World Trade Organization. You have to clearly write down Secretariat, World Trade Organization. Then you have to write the name of the document in italics. You have to write how will you access to that particular report, and then date. Fine. Each and every organization has to be cited in a similar manner, but make sure that whenever you have a look, you visit that particular document, you have to write down the date also. And then supranational cases. Now, international cases for that matter, has to be written first, name of the case in italics, phase or year. Name of the case includes parties involved in the case. You have to also write here. Name of the case, still name of the parties, the name of the case has to be in italics. Then where is it reported? You have to pinpoint the reference point. Fine. Apart from that, if you want to source an electronic, you want to know mode of citation from an electronic source, you have to first write down who is the, for example, you are citing a blog which has been written by somebody else. You have to first write down the name of the author, then what is the name of the blog, whether it is being published in a newspaper online, or whether it is published in any kind of blog, which has to be, the name of the blog has to be in italics. You have to write the full date and where is it available. You have to copy the link and paste it, and last visited. The same goes with audiovisual sources, documentaries, speeches, interviews. Very similar aspect has to be clearly done. Now, with regard to referencing, first of all, there are certain terms which you would come across. First of all, supra and infra. Supra in Latin clearly means above. For example, if you want to refer to a prior footnote, so you would use a word called supra in italics. For example, if a different page number, you want to clearly denote a reference which has been given in a different page number, then you have to clearly write supra note 5 at page number this. Fine. And same goes with, majorly supra is being used, infra is not preferred. Then IBID IBID or IBID, which clearly means in the same place. That clearly means if IBID is used to refer an authority in the footnote immediately preceding the current footnote. For example, there are 5-6 footnote. You want to use the footnote which is in fifth number and in the sixth footnote. So you would use IBID. Fine, in the same page. And ID clearly means the same. If you want to use ID, you will use if the authority is in the same, but the page or the place or reference is different. For example, you are using ID. ID clearly means the same, but if you want to denote the same authority, but it is located on a different page, you will use ID at page number. This. And also, if you want to refer to the same, for example, you are using Article 14 page number 2 and Article 14 page number 10 also. So you can use ID, which is Article 14, which is referred in page number this. Then there are a lot of articles. You have to clearly whatever abbreviations which you use in throughout your dissertation or thesis, you have to make a separate list of abbreviations you've used in the whole dissertation. Yes, that's about it. I hope I've covered everything. I tried to cover every possible single mode of citation, starting from books, starting from articles, starting from websites, starting from site electronic means, starting from all kind of reports. I will try to give this I will try to circulate the PPT and the material which is being also in the free portal, and I will send it to you for your reference. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tanvi ma'am, for such an elaborative session on citation method. Now, in continuation of this only, I would like to call upon our next speaker for the day, and she's Ms. Purva Kaushik, Assistant Professor Law at GemTech School of Law, Greater Noida. If we talk about dissertation writing, formatting is one of the most important aspects, and she will be talking about font size in the main text and the footnotes, quote unquote, single inverted commas, and how to write case laws and other things in your dissertation. And lastly, she will also be talking about the last part of the dissertation writing, like binding, spiral or hardbound length of the research project, etc. So over to you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sunena ma'am. I hope I'm audible and visible.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible and visible.
Thank you, ma'am. So I would like to start with thanking our respected HOD ma'am, Professor Dr. Pallavi Gupta ma'am, Professor Dr. Behel sir, Tyagi sir, and all the members of the organizing committee of this FDP for giving me this opportunity to present my views on the research related skills. So majority of the topics related to citation have already been covered by Tanvi ma'am. However, the ones which are still left and need to be highlighted, I'll be sharing those. I'll just share my screen with you all. So Naina ma'am, could you please confirm if my slides are visible? Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Yes, ma'am, your slides are visible.
All right, thank you. So I'll be starting with what all are the citation formats in research writing. And along with that, I'll be talking about the dissertation drafting rules, which are provided by IP University for the main campus, as well as all the affiliated colleges. And so that it all comes in handy for you guys when you are, in the end, finally compiling all the research data that is collected by you and putting it all together, right? So first of all, by citation, as also Tanvi ma'am must have informed you all. Lakshya, do you have a question, which is why you've raised your hand? If not, you can put it down, please. Okay. So first of all, when we are talking about any particular research that we are conducting, let's say we are a 10th semester BLLB student or a BBLLB student, and my work is to gather data from everywhere. Let's talk about a doctrinal research. Therein, I'm supposed to gather data from already researched work. I am not bringing something entirely new to the table. Instead, I am finding the various research works done by various authors across the globe, or if it is focusing on the national perspective, then within India. I'm supposed to look at all of that research work and then get what all can be extracted for the purpose of my issue, bring it all together, compile it in a form which is understandable and makes sense. And that's how I make my doctrinal research work understandable. Just a minute. So, what is citation basically? Every time I'm picking the data or I'm picking the ideas from another author's work, I'm supposed to put that information that I've taken the data from that place in my research work as well. Right? Now, how is it different in doctrinal research and how is it different in empirical research? In case of doctrinal research, majority of the data that we are compiling together is from various authors. And as a result, all of that needs to be cited, which means that in case of doctrinal research, the citations are much more quantitatively as compared to empirical research, because in empirical research, there is a lot of data that we gather through our own field work. Right? We go and meet the stakeholders, we go and meet the concerned authorities, we ask for their opinions, we jot them down, we compile that data together, we analyze that data, and then we arrive at our conclusions. Right? That is what empirical research is about, wherein maybe some part is derived from other people's data, but majority of it is your own. Right? So that is how both of them are different from each other, in the sense that doctrinal has more citations as compared to empirical in majority of the cases, right? Now, coming to the significance of citation in research writing. First of all, the most important one is when your research work is being read by a reader. Let's say a research work got published in a journal and a reader is reading it. They are trying to find where a particular issue that you've addressed in your research paper, where did you get that idea from? Also, whether that idea is originally from the place that you've cited. And secondly, if more details of that data can be provided to the reader. So if you just mentioned a bit, an extract out of a particular research paper, and the reader of your research paper wants to further know about it in details, that is another reason why you need to cite. Okay, so you need to make sure that the reader knows what data, what information, what ideas you took from which source of information. Right? So that is one of the most important significance of citation in research writing. If you've gathered data from various sources and you've just mentioned that in your research work, how will the reader know that these are the exact places from which you got the data? You are making them perceive that it is all your original data if you've not cited, when it's actually not all of your original data. Right? Now, coming to the nexus between citation and research ethics. When we are entering into the realm of research, there are several rules which we need to follow. And if we do not, a cause of action can be, another person can have a cause of action against us. In the sense that even legal issues can be raised against us, and we might get into trouble. Now, the three, just a minute. Okay, the three ways in which citation is related to research ethics is: number one, original work proof. That is, the work is not yours or the work is yours is what the other party, the reader, is going to know from your citation, right? So if you've copy pasted the entire thing from somewhere else, citations will not be provided by you, because otherwise the reader will get to know something has been copied as it is from another place. But if you've only taken an idea, or if you've only taken a small bit of extract from another person's original work, then what is wrong with citing that person's work, right? So that just makes us display that this work is my original. Whatever parts I have taken from other people's work, I have duly cited them. Okay. Now, Sunaina ma'am, can you please address Lakshay Mahajan's issue? He is raising his hand repeatedly, and that's causing disturbance. Okay. Second is give due credit. That is, if I have worked hard on the research of a particular book, a book chapter, a research paper, article, blog, whatever, then if somebody else is copying it, then they are duty bound based on research ethics to inform, to give due credit to the readers of that particular author whose idea has been taken. Right? So if I have researched and worked hard, put in my effort to write a paper, somebody else who is taking my idea needs to mention in their work that this is Purva Kaushik's work that I've cited. I've taken the idea from her. So you need to appreciate the work of that other person. That is why you need to give due credit. Right? That's again a rule of research ethics, which you have to follow come what may. Next, to avoid plagiarism. Now, if there is a particular text that another person had added in their article or research paper, and as a result, it becomes pertinent for you to mention the entire thing as it is. If you do mention it as it is, then in that case, you are going to be subjected to plagiarism. That is, the fact that you've copy pasted it will be detected when a plagiarism software is being used, right? So what do? You put the data in quotations or you put it in italics. Through that means you can avoid plagiarism detection of at least that particular extract. This just shows that you've copied it as it is. Okay, now these are the 4 forms of citations that we all need to know about. First of all, what are these forms of citation? First is footnotes, second is endnotes, third is list of references, fourth is bibliography. So, first of all, we need to know what they mean, and second of all, we need to know how they are different from each other. Because at times, a lot of people confuse footnotes with endnotes with list of references, and so on and so forth, right? So coming to the first one now, what are footnotes? On a particular page, whichever sources I have cited, I am going to mention them on that relevant page itself at the bottom. Okay, in the footer part, which is why the name footnotes, in the footer part, I will add it as reference, and through that footnote, I'm going to provide due credit to the actual author, right? So how is a footnote different from an endnote? Endnote and footnote are all the same, except the fact that where are they situated. So footnotes are going to be at the bottom of that relevant page where they are cited, and endnotes are going to be at the end of the entire research work, right? So let's say my entire paper is of 12 pages, and the 13th page is where I'll start with the endnotes. Endnotes are going to be in the same order in which the references are made in the entire paper, right? So if on page 1 I have referred the work of one person, then that is going to be the first endnote, and so on and so forth. In the order of the page numbers, in the order of where and when I have cited a particular person's work, I'm going to enlist the endnotes at the end of my research work in that manner. So this endnotes are not going to be in alphabetical order, but rather in the order in which they were used throughout the paper. Right? Now, coming back to footnote styles. Footnotes, if you understood what they mean, there are various forms of footnote styles given by various institutes or specific journals altogether, right? And the most widely used in India are 3. They are Blue Book citation. Sorry. Second is ILI, Indian Law Institute citation format. That is this particular institute, ILI, which is located beside Pragati Maidan, is the institute which has provided this particular citation format. It is not just used by ILI and the journal of ILI, but by various other institutes and their journals as well. So they've adopted ILI citation format from ILI, right? Regarding Blue Book citation style, presently it is the 21st edition of Blue Book citation that prevails, right? It keeps getting revised. Various small or big changes are made from time to time based on the addition to the Blue Book citation style. Third is Oscola. By Oscola, we mean, this is an acronym for Oxford Standard for the Citation of Legal Authorities. And this is used by most of the journals which belong to institutes located in US, also other countries. Like in India as well, there are some journals and institutes which use Oscola citation format. Okay, and the last one, which is not so used in India, is the APA citation style. This is an acronym. APA is an acronym for American Psychological Association, and that particular association has given their own citation format, which is followed worldwide by various journals and institutes. Okay, now coming to Blue Book citation format. Now, where does this come from? This is a uniform system of citation, and it was compiled by the law review editors of Columbia, Harvard, University of Pennsylvania, and Yale University. Now, this is obviously subject to change from time to time, and this guide is most widely used citation manual for law. It prescribes the citation format for most of the US-based law sources, right? Whichever journals or institutes running their own research work, they have adopted it from time to time. Now, talking about EndNote again, an EndNote is source citation that refers the readers to a specific place at the time of the paper, where at the end of the paper, where they can find out the source of the information or words quoted or mentioned in the paper, right? So this is very similar to footnotes, just that it is not at the end of every relevant page, rather it is at the end of the entire research work. Okay, now when using endnotes, your quoted or paraphrased sentence or summarized material is followed by a superscript number, always. That is what is the rule, that a superscript number has to be used at the end of every endnote. And thirdly, since endnote is based on enlisting by the order in which the research work was cited, that is why it is not in the alphabetical order, right? Now, this becomes relevant when we talk about references and bibliography and compare it with Endnotes, the alphabetical order part. Talking about list of references. Now, list of references is again situated at the same place as Endnotes, that is at the end of the research work and not at relevant pages. By list of references, we mean which all works have we referenced throughout the paper. By this, we mean that we are again going to enlist all the works that we've cited, but this will not be in the order that they were used, but rather in alphabetical order, just like bibliography. Okay, now how is references or the list of references different from bibliography? Let's say I'm writing a research paper. I have quoted certain text from original work of another author. However, there are two authors whose work I have not quoted in my paper, nor have I mentioned them in the footnotes or elsewhere, but I have derived ideas from them. I read their research paper, or I read their book chapter or book or whatever, and I derived ideas only. So I did not cite them. In such cases, when we are writing bibliography, you have to mention those sources as well, which you did not cite actually, but borrowed ideas from. Which means even if there is a research paper or a book chapter or book that you've not cited throughout your paper, but since you've read it and derived ideas from it, bibliography is going to include that as well. Okay, so that's how bibliography is considered to be wider in scope as compared to list of references. Right? References only means every work that you have cited in your paper. And on the other hand, bibliography means all the work that you've cited, yes, that will definitely be included. But additionally to that, you will also mention the works from which you've derived the ideas, though not cited. Right? That's what I've mentioned here. It says the term bibliography is the term used as a list, used for a list of sources, books, articles, or websites, used to write an assignment. It usually includes all the sources consulted, even if they are not directly cited in the assignment, right? Even if you've just consulted them, you've derived ideas from them, even then you have to mention them in your bibliography, right? Now, talking about footnotes and their difference from bibliography. Footnotes and bibliography contain essentially the same information. That is, what is the work that you've derived from another person's original work, and it's not your own, right? That's what you're going to inform the readers. However, they are different in terms of writing in the following ways. So, in case of firstly, footnotes, this is the general rule. I'm not saying this is the universal rule. This is the general rule that in case of footnotes, the name of the author comes first, the surname comes thereafter, and then comes the comma, then the title of the paper, and thereafter details of publisher, year of publication, page number, etc. But in case of bibliography, when you're citing a work, therein you are supposed to first write the surname of the author, thereafter you're supposed to put a comma, thereafter you're supposed to write the first name of the author, then the title of the paper, then the publisher's name, and lastly the year of publication, right? That's how it usually goes. Now, in case of footnotes, what things are present, and later on, in case of bibliography, what things are not present as were present in footnotes. Firstly, the author's name appears with the first name and the last name second, followed by a comma. The first line is indented. There are parentheses around the publication information. For those who do not know what parentheses are, these are curved brackets which are used at the time of citation. So there are various kinds of brackets. There are square brackets, and there are more. So the ones which are just curved are the ones which are called parentheses. I have mentioned that in the next slide. I'll come to that in a while. So next is specific page numbers have to be included. Footnotes are supposed to be numbered and no number is supposed to be repeated. Okay. And lastly, footnotes appear at the bottom of the page, unlike bibliography. Coming to bibliography now, there are no parentheses. Now, this is parentheses that I have highlighted as well. These are the kind of brackets which are called parentheses, and they are present in footnotes only and not in case of bibliography. Right? Next, there are no page numbers involved. Next, the entire bibliography appears on a separate page at the end of the paper, and this should be the last page of your paper, which means once you're done writing everything else, once you're also done writing your conclusion, suggestions, remarks, thereafter you start with bibliography part, right? Next, the bibliography is arranged in alphabetical order by the author's last name, because as mentioned in the previous slide, in case of bibliography, the last name comes first, then comes the comma, and then comes the first name. Because that happens, the last name coming first. So if there is an author whose name starts with, whose surname or whose last name starts with the alphabet D, then that particular bibliography citation will come after Ball Philip, right? Similarly, if there is an author whose last name starts with A, that particular citation will come in the bibliography before Philip Ball, right? Because it is supposed to be in alphabetical order, always. Now, in the next slide, I'm going to talk about the font size of the main text and that of footnotes, which is essential because every person, every student has to maintain a uniform font size, a uniform font style, and so on and so forth, right? So every university has their own research related drafting rules. However, the common font size in majority of them is for the main text, it's 12 font size. For the footnotes, it is 10 font size. In both of them, the font style is going to be Times New Roman, right? Coming to the next part, this is quote unquote. Now, when do you use quote and unquote? When you are adding the direct speech of another person in your data. For example, I was having a conversation with a transgender person. That person gave me certain pertinent information. I do not want to add my own touch to it. So I wish to write it as it is. As was spoken from the mouth of the transgender person, I want to put it in my work as it is. How can I do that? How can I ensure that the readers know that I have not made any modifications to what was stated to me by the transgender person? I can put that work in, I can put that data in quote unquote. Okay, this is what quote unquote looks like. For example, you might say, she said, quote, it's not you, it's me, and then unquote. So you put double inverted commas at the beginning of their direct speech, and you again put double inverted commas at the end of their direct speech, right? That's how you inform the reader that you've not added your own thoughts to what was stated. Use of single inverted commas and double inverted commas. Now, these are used to convey emphasis to a particular information. Inverted commas are used for quoting something or someone's words. If you want to inform another person that somebody said something and you want to quote it as it is, then you use single inverted commas or double inverted commas for that purpose. It is also used not just for the purpose of informing about direct speeches, but also to give emphasis to a particular information. If you want to ensure that the reader does not miss it, you can put it in inverted commas. Now, how to cite a case law? I am not talking about the ILI citation format or the Blue Book citation format or anything. Instead, I'm talking about the general rule of footnoting. For that purpose, this one is close to ILI. It says that when we are citing a case law, I've picked the Indian cases specifically here. We first write the name of the case, then we write the volume number, then the reporter abbreviation if it is AIR or some other, then the first page of the case, and then we pinpoint the quote as well as the year. For citing Indian cases, first we write the name of the case, including both parties, and between the names of both parties, we write verses as V dot. We do not write verses completely. Also, we do not write V/S. No, we don't do that. Instead, verses is to be denoted as V dot. Okay, the V is supposed to be a small letter and not a capital letter. Then you put a comma followed by citation of the case. And these are the examples. You write the name of the first party, then you write V dot, then you write state of Madras, then you put a comma, then you write the abbreviation of the reporter, year when this judgment was passed, and the name of the court, and then you end it there. Similarly, Keshavananda Bharti versus State of Kerala, comma, put within brackets the year of the judgment, then which is the reporter from which you've cited it, that this is Supreme Court cases 225. Coming to Law Commission reports and their citation. So Law Commission of India has passed several reports based on their own research and analysis. Some of them are the 227th report, the 172nd report. All of these also give us fieldwork data and other doctrinal research related data. So when we are referring these data, we have to cite them, and this is the way in which you are supposed to cite them. You mention Law Commission of India, and thereafter you mention the name of the report. However, when you are picking that Law Commission report from an online source, in that case, you don't just write the name of the Law Commission and the report, but also you add the uniform resource locator, that is the URL, and you also mention the date on which it was last visited by you. Okay, so these are the two different ways in which Law Commission reports are cited. Firstly, in the usual manner. This is Law Commission of India. This is the name of the report, Reforms in the Judiciary, some suggestions. Then you write the report number, and then you mention the date on which it was last extracted, right? However, if you're using it through an online source, then you mention Law Commission of India, subject of the report, report number, the date on which it was last visited, and then you also mention the URL, available at, this is the URL, last visited on January 2nd, 2014. Right, that's how you're supposed to cite Law Commission reports. Coming to foreign judgments, the authors have to cover the following elements therein. Firstly, mention the case name. First listing the parties of each side. This has to be italicized or underlined. Usually, the rule is to italicize the name of the parties. Thereafter, you write the volume number, reporter, page, court, and jurisdiction in parenthetical, and then year in parenthetical, by which we mean these curved brackets. I hope everybody understands that by now. Coming to bare act citations, if you are citing the particular sections from a bare act, in that case, or let's say we are talking about procedural laws, the CPC or the CRPC, etc., then how are you supposed to cite those bare act provisions? So this mentions that we have to write the name of the statute first, starting with the, and the year it was passed. For example, if you're talking about the IPC, similar to these examples, it will be the Indian Penal Code 1860. Then you write the word section mentioned by the section, followed by the section number without a space. And a space is to be used for order and rule numbers. That is, if you're talking about CPC, in that case, the second example will operate. That is, you'll write the name of the statute. Thereafter, you'll put a comma. Thereafter, you'll write the name on the year in which it was passed. And thereafter, you'll write the order number and rule number one after another. Right? Now, coming towards the end of my session, these are some additional points that need to be noted by all of you. First of all, your dissertation, once the entire writing part is covered, you have to get it hard bound and not spiral bound. Secondly, the length of the dissertation has to be between 100 to 120 words. This is exclusive of footnotes, which means adding footnotes, it can exceed beyond 120 words. The color of the rexine has to be black. By rexine, I mean a leather-like.
120 pages.
Pardon me, guys. The length of the dissertation is 100 to 120 pages. I beg your pardon for that. Color of rexine is black with golden embossing, and the color of printing the dissertation text is black. I've also added a picture for your reference. This is what your dissertation is supposed to look like once hard bound and rexine added to it, and this is what the golden printing is supposed to be look like. This is not a BLLB dissertation, rather it is the PhD thesis of a foreign university. The parts that are written at the top are not how you're supposed to write. Your dissertation, the rexine part, has to have all the details which the cover page of your dissertation is going to have. So the first page, the cover page of your dissertation as it is to be copied at the top of the dissertation in golden print. Okay, I hope all of this information comes in handy for you at the time of writing your dissertation. I wish you all the best. In case of any doubts, you all can contact me, of course. Thank you. Over to you, Sunana ma'am.
Thank you so much, Purva ma'am, for such an elaborative session on such a topic which we usually don't focus on. So thank you so much. And now I would like this opportunity to propose my vote of thanks. I would like to thank our chairman, sir, our director, sir, our HOD ma'am, and Professor Dr. Behel, sir, who is the organizer of this event, Dr. Tyagi, sir, and all the members of the organizing committee for organizing such a week-long workshop, which is beneficial for students as well as for all the faculty members. Thank you so much. Now, students, I would like to thank speakers for today's event, Richa ma'am, Sanvi ma'am, and Purva ma'am. You delivered your session very efficiently. Thank you so much. And I also want to thank all the students who were here and who were listening so patiently. I hope you would have learned a lot by all the speakers. So thank you once again. Now I would like to request all of you to please switch on your camera for a good group photograph. All the students and faculty members, please switch on your camera so that we can have a group photograph. Students, please switch on your camera. Shishma ma'am, if you are here, please allow participants to switch on their camera because it's in the disable mode now. Students, I hope you are able to switch on your camera now. So please do it quickly and open your cameras. Yes. Many students are still left to open their cameras.
They are finding problem in opening their cameras. Many of the faculties, they are also facing problem.
Ma'am, your voice is not audible too much.
Ma'am, many of the faculties, they are also facing problem in opening their cameras.
Okay, ma'am. Please try to open it again as we have given you the permission to open it now. Earlier it was disabled, but now you must be able to switch on your camera. So please try to do it as soon as possible.
I've done with the photographs. Thank you, everyone. Over to you, Sunana ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, everyone.